Hey guys, welcome back to Linux/Python. In this class, we're going to install the MySQL database onto our Linux virtual machine. MySQL is a structured query language, so it's kind of a database type thing to manage your data when you have large bioinformatic projects, when you're comparing multiple genomes and things of that nature. You need something to manage everything, right? And a structured query language allows you to very conveniently and neatly build these relationships between files and know where everything is. So let's just go ahead and get into this installation process. Okay, so once again, we're going to do this in the terminal. So open up your terminal. So the first thing, whenever you're installing some sort of package and things like that, what you want to do is you want to do this sudo, it's running kind of slow, sudo apt update. And so sudo means that you're doing this as like the root user, I guess, of the machine. So if you don't do sudo, sometimes if you're like an account on the machine and you're not the machine's root user or the administrator, that's probably a better word for it, then it is sometimes not going to let you. It stands for super user do, which is it means it's like the do command that we had in our loops. So like it's telling you to do this command, and super user is like the owner of the machine, quote unquote. So anyways, so we're going to sudo apt update because we're going to update all like the basic packages and stuff like that, because when we install something, we want to make sure that the latest dependencies and everything are up to date. Usually I'm not going to run it because it's not asking me to. We're going to do it anyways. Sudo apt upgrade. Let's try it. So upgrade also installs new packages and dependencies. So hopefully this didn't mess things up because it wasn't in my list of commands to do. But generally that's good practice to sudo upgrade and sudo update both before you do any sort of new package installation and things like that. It probably said not to do it because it's probably going to take a lot longer than the update did to upgrade. But I can always edit videos, cut out this section, fast forward the section, add some elevator music.
A few moments later.
Okay, now that we're updated, let's do sudo apt install MySQL server. We'll say yes. Hopefully this one doesn't take as long as the last one. It doesn't look like it will. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, so we have installed it. Now what we're going to do is do sudo systemctl start MySQL dot service. So we're going to start running MySQL. So we're running it, but we don't have a password and stuff set up. So usually you want to set up a password, and we will do that in the next step. So others can't go in and delete your data and things like that. So sudo MySQL. So you can see, where's my command? Where? Okay, so this is an Oracle product. Okay, here we are. lost in my lines of code here. So this shows that we have it installed in Ubuntu, etc. And we're now in MySQL, right? So we're no longer in the terminal, because when we were in the terminal, we had our $ as our command, but now we're in our actual SQL database or server. So now what we want to do is we want to write alter user root at localhost. Oops, this should have quotations or apostrophes around it. Identified with MySQL native, underscore native password. And then I'll make sure I get all this. Yep. My native password, and then by let's see. We're just going to use password. I'll make sure I got this right. Alter user root at localhost identified with MySQL native password by password. Okay. Now let's do MySQL, or now let's do exit. Well, why are you giving me trouble? Oh, I forgot this guy. So let's do. All right. So you're gonna rewrite the same text. I forgot the semicolon at the end there. Let's make this it's a little too big, a little bit bigger. Go back down. Yeah, so I forgot the semicolon. It was off the edge of my screen. Okay. So now that that's done, we can type exit. So now that we are out of it, we can type MySQL u root p. And then I'll ask you to enter your password. For me, it was password. See, now I'm in MySQL again. And then exit. Okay, so if you want to connect, MySQL. Oops. U root p, and that brings up your password. For me, it's password. Then you're in MySQL, and you can exit. Okay, just to clarify things again. Okay. So now let's run sudo MySQL secure installation. Enter your password. Oops. Would you like to? So you can have it set up to tell you if you have a strong password or not. I'm just gonna say no. I'm gonna say no to change my password. Remove anonymous users. No. Disallow root login remotely. No. It depends how. I'm just saying no for like everything. Reload privilege tables now. No. Okay. So that's like, if you're like doing some like highly sensitive data stuff, this is got all the checks and balances that you need to make sure that, like, you know, you're not getting your stuff stolen. For our case, for any genomicist, like, unless you like think you're gonna win the Nobel Prize and you're worried about someone like stealing your stuff, you know, I'm not too worried about my stuff getting scooped. But yeah, so but it's up to you. Some people are more paranoid about it than others. All right, so let's look now at let's see. So let's do MySQL. Actually, we're gonna exit. So we're gonna, whoop, what happened there? I exited super far out. Okay, MySQL u root p, and so that logs us in with the password. So I'm in MySQL again. So if you want to give someone else like access, or like, so in my case, like, I have some grad students, maybe I'd want to give them access to the database, because it doesn't make sense for, you know, us to have, me to have a copy and them to have a copy, because we're talking about like terabytes, gigabytes, large amounts of data. So we can do this: create user, and then I'm gonna say my username is VDB, and then at host. Actually, I think this is not supposed to be. I'm just gonna say username. I think it's a variable at this point, if I remember right. It's been a while. And then we say identified with, then authentication underscore plugin by password, and then remember that semicolon, because that's where I got into problems earlier. But authentication plugin is not loaded. Let's see. Actually, I think I've messed that up. So let's try this again. Create user, so I do put one. So I'll say VDB at, and I'll say local, oops. Oh no. Let's exit that. All right. Create user, VDB at local host identified with authentication, not authentication, authentication plugin by password. What do you mean authentication is not loaded? All right, hold on. All right, let's exit this. Let's try sudo MySQL. What? access denied for root localhost. MySQL u root p password. Let's try this. Let's see. Let's do this. Get rid of that authentication plugin crap. Sorry. All right. So that's their password. So their password's default is password. Let's see. So I didn't have, the reason that it was a problem is this authentication plugin I didn't have enabled. I'm not going to go into enabling it. It's like a plugin. Like I said, some of this is like top secret data level like encryption. We don't need that for our genomic stuff. We just want to use the database and not have, like, a password's fine, but having like all this crazy other stuff can be a little too much. Okay, so so let's test our MySQL installation here. So let's do systemctl status MySQL service. And so we see that we have some things loaded. Server is operational. It's good to see. So now what we should do is sudo MySQL admin p u what did I think it was VDB. What did I use? Let's see, what did I do up here? Oh, I think I just called it root. All right, let's try the same thing again. Let's just call it root. Okay, so I named my server root. You can name it whatever you want above. But we have our information here, how much memory, server version, protocol version, uptime, blah, 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 flush tables, yada, yada, yada. Let's see. Okay, yeah, that's correct. Okay, so these are just ways to check if it is up and running, right? So our first one checks to see if it is SQL is actively running. It says active running right here, and that it is loaded, and the server is operational, how much memory there is, how many tasks there are, etc. And then when you run the next command here, failed. Okay, here we go. Root, enter your password. That's supposed to be my password. And this just tells you kind of your version control, right? So it's just do the admin login to our MySQL. And the name of it is root, and then just tell me the version that I'm running. So that's if somebody asks you information on your MySQL, you're able to kind of give them, okay, it's on Ubuntu, it's got protocol version 10, etc. Okay. That was a bit much, a lot. So, why do I come out as pink? There we go. Isn't that weird? Like this pink hue to me. So that's how MySQL works. You're setting it up. Like right now, you're probably swimming. I'm swimming because I went through a lot of issues. Because this is something you do once and then you don't do it anymore. It's not like you have to set this up over and over and over again. You set it up once and then you use it a lot. So setup can be kind of froggy sometimes because you're not, unless you're like some sort of cloud admin or something like that for these like a high performance computer cluster or something. You're not doing this a lot, but that's generally how you do it. So we've set up our MySQL, which we'll end up using a little bit later. I hope it wasn't too confusing, and we'll move on to doing more bioinformatic-y stuff shortly. We had to get all these packages and stuff installed before we can jump into the Python. So thanks for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, hit like, hit subscribe. We'll continue on. I think we're going to do a little bit of querying for things in the terminal, and then we'll jump into Python. So check out the next video, and I will catch you in the next one.